As I'm sure you're all aware, the Netflix original hit show The Boys just came out with a new season. So let's build a Homelander Commander deck. Our commander is going to be Marika, Brutal Gladiator, 2 black, red, green for a legendary creature, Human Warrior 7/4, who says Marika must be blocked if able. And as long as it's our turn, Marika has indestructible. Just like, our main man, he's going to be a big, beefy boy. And whenever Marika deals damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage this turn, that creature's controller sacrifices a non-creature, non-land permanent. So the whole idea is that we're just a beast, punching through these creatures, doing so much damage. We're just going to be overpowering our opponents. It's going to be sweet. So let's go over a little Venn diagram between the boys and Magic so we can sort of see where this deck overlaps. The boys, obviously, a TV show, and Magic the Gathering, obviously, a card game. What do they have in common? Gratuitous epic violence. All right, cards beating on each other and stuff. And of course, boys in Magic the Gathering, they got to have balls in common. I've never seen more balls in my life than in Magic the Gathering and in the boys. So the plan of the deck is as follows: violence. All right, the steps of the plan are as follows: violence. And of course, the win condition of the deck are as follows: more violence. All right, but it's bold this time because it's going to be sweet and awesome. The whole deck is built around how, you ask? Fighting. That's right. How are we going to win via violence? The fight mechanic. All right. So Homelander, our commander, and our opponent's creatures are going to be like this. We're going to have our Homelander. We're going to punch through them like this. Boom. They're dead. All right. Here's a little graphic here. We're going to have our fist and their opponent's creature. Boom. Punch them. They're dead because we're indestructible on our turn. We just fight a bunch of guys and get a bunch of value that way, making our opponents sacrifice non-creature, non-land permanents like enchantments and artifacts and stuff like that to get a lot of value. And it's super fun. So Contest of Claws, 1 and a green for a sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. If excess damage was dealt this way, discover X, where X is that excess damage. So the whole idea is in these fights, we want to just remove our opponent's creatures and do excess damage. So removing them, and we're going to be getting card advantage off of Contest of Claws, as well as making them sacrifice those non-creature, non-land permanents. It's going to be sweet. Same thing with Ram Through. 1 in a green, target creature you control deals damage, and if that creature has trample, which we're going to give our commander, that excess damage is instead dealt to that creature's controller. So now we're getting removal of a creature and also damage on our opponents, which is super cool. Of course, we got Win Swift Slice, 2 and a green for an instant. Target creature you control fight somebody else, whatever. And we're going to create a number of 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt this way. So we're going to be removal and also dudes. We're going to fill our board so that way we've got some guys to block because our commander's going to be swinging out every single turn because it's awesome like that. We've also got Savage Punch, a very unique card because it's 1 and a green for a sorcery that makes your creature fight. It also has Ferocious. The creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Before it fights, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, our commander is a 7 power creature. And this is very unique because, I don't really know. It just has the coolest art, I think. It's a dude punching a bear. That's sick as hell. Anyway, you're going to be wondering, what about the 7? All right, Quips and Guac, I want my Homelander deck to be thematic. What about the 7? Well, do I have theming for you? All right, he had to go solo. Homelander's all about, himself and stuff like that. So let's meet the fodder. All right, these are creatures we don't care about, but there's only 6 of them, where there's only 7 creatures total in the deck. Your commander and these 6 we're going to go over. All right, number 1 is Brawn. What Homelander has? Brawn over anything. 3 and a green for an incarnation creature, 3/3 that has trample. And if it's in our graveyard and you control a forest, creatures you control have trample. Boom. Now we can ram through, do a bunch of excess damage. It'll be super cool. And now, trample is good, so why not have it? And no chump block, so now people won't throw their little 1/1s in front of you. You can just trample through it and start getting some commander damage, start doing a bunch of excess damage, stuff like that. Number 2, we got Anger. Also, one of Homelander's main flaws. 3 and a red incarnation's got 2/2. As long as it's in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste, and haste is dope. You got to run fast. That's A-Train right here, baby. All right. Number 3 is Vigor. All right. We've all seen the scenes. This dude's got some vigor. 3 and 3 green for a incarnation trample. If damage will be dealt to another creature you control, prevent that damage. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. When we are fighting, we're going to be taking so much damage on our indestructible creature that they're going to get massively huge. It's going to be so cool. It's safety. That way, in case they remove our indestructible or whatever, we can still prevent a bunch of that damage and get counters out of it as well. And we're going to get into one-shot territory because we're going to be doubling our power, stuff like that. It's going to be sweet. And if it's put into a graveyard, shuffle it into its owner's library. So we always have it in there. It's pretty sweet. Endurance, he's a superhuman guy. All right, 1, 2 green, elemental incarnation. We know the rules. When it enters the battlefield, up to one target player, that'll be us, puts all the cards from their graveyard on the bottom of their library in a random order, and we can evoke it. It's pretty cool. You never run out of cards because he never runs out of steam, all right? Plus, it's just the cool art. Look at that, dude. It's like a cool, root thing. It's like a deer. Anyway, sweet. Number 5 is Dread, all right? Just what the boys feel whenever they see Homelander Season 1, if you know what I'm talking about. It is an elemental incarnation 6/6 with fear. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it as they deserve for hitting us. How dare they? Only we get to hit them. They don't get to hit us. And of course, when Dread is put into a graveyard, shuffle it into its owner's library so that way we can always have it. It's pretty sweet. Number 6, the final member of the 7 is Genesis. 4 and a green for an incarnation. At the beginning of your upkeep, if it's in your graveyard, which at some point it might, you can pay 2 and a green. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So that way we can get Vigor and stuff like that, or some of those other, maybe not Vigor because he gets auto shuffled, but some of our other members of the 7 back into our hand so we can cast them. It's some recursion. We're not going to need it because our commander is carrying us all the way. It's a little redundant. But now you're going to be asking, what about winning? You told us that we could win with this deck. Well, let me show you the combos here, all right? Nemesis Mask, 3 mana, artifact equipment. All creatures able to block equipped creature do so, and it has equip cost 3. So now you are an unstoppable beast, all right? No matter how many peasants they throw at you, they all have to block your commander. And you're going to be able to pick and choose where you want to do the excess damage, who you want to snipe out, who you want to blast with your damage. And the fun part comes in, when they try to block you, and you have Fiend Lash. 1 and a red for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has reach. Whatever. Especially important is whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker, and it has equip cost 3. So now these are the consequences. For all those creatures blocking you that they have to because of Nemesis Mask, they're going to be reflecting that damage back onto their owner now. It's super sweet. So you're going to be dishing out 9 damage per blocker, and it's going to be insane. If they have maybe 5 blockers, that's 45 damage that you get to just shoot out to people. Oh, it's sweet. Oh, it's so cool. It's awesome. Very similar, we have Blazing Sunsteel. 1 and a red for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each opponent you have, so it'll be about 3 to 2 to 1. And whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. So now, it's consequences part 2 for all those creatures blocking you that they have to, they're forced to. Now you're going to have some varying damages. So as long as they're doing damage to you, they're going to be able to shoot them back with that damage because it's Homelander, dude. You can't fight him and win. You know what I mean? He's unstoppable. He's a beast. Similarly, we have Arc Bond, 2 and a red for an instant. Choose target creature, obviously our main commander. Whenever that creature is dealt damage this turn, it deals that much damage to each other creature and each player. So we're really just running this main creature and a bunch of stuff to make him fight. So it's going to be taking a ton of damage, which means it's a little dangerous because every player is taking it unless you throw Loxodon Warhammer or some sort of lifelink onto our commander, because now you're going to be healing way more damage than you're taking from Arc Bond. It's going to be insane. You'll be able to snipe out the entire table. If everyone has to block you and they all hit your commander, even if it has 4 life, because it's indestructible, it can take all that damage. Meaning if they have 20 power on board, that means everybody just took 20 damage and you're healing like 40 or 60, something like that. It's insane. Next up, we have Nazgul Battle Mace. 5 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Menace, Death Touch, Annihilator 1, and if that's not enough, whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card onto the battlefield under your control unless that player pays 3 life. So now the Annihilator trigger on Nazgul, and if you do excess damage and they have to do that sacrifice trigger from your commander, you're going to be getting that onto your board unless they take even more damage. It's going to be insane. We're just going to rob them unless they pay their taxes, which is absolutely insane. This is a great card to have in this deck because of all the sacrificing that's going to be going on, and they're going to have to pay that life to get it back. So in conclusion, our commander is going to be swinging out with Nemesis Mask, so everyone has to block this creature. And with Fiend Lash, everyone's going to be taking so much damage from blocking Marika. It's going to be awesome and insane. It's going to be Homelander. They're going to throw their little goons at you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they are going to literally explode at your feet. All right. They can't touch you. You're indestructible. You're a beast. Okay. And the worst thing is, you've only got one creature. You know what I'm saying? You just recast your commander and do it all over again. You got nothing to lose. All right. Your guy's unstoppable, unbeatable. It's going to be super awesome and super cool. So that brings us to the end of the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you subscribe, subscribe. And if you got some extra money lying around, please do support the children in Palestine in the link in the description down below. If you have other suggestions for what you want me to do a video on, leave those in the comments down below. How would you have built Homelander? Did you like the angle I took? If you don't, leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to discuss with you guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.